suspect in Charlie Kirk's assassination faces aggravated murder and several related charges in this case. Investigators are weighing whether political ideology played a role and how that differs from legal motives here. Joining us this morning is Jillian Snider, resident senior fellow at the R Street Institute, with questions it raises about ideology, motive, and criminal prosecution. Jillian, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so the suspect here faces 7 charges: aggravated murder, discharge of a firearm, 2 counts of obstruction of justice, 2 counts of tampering with a witness, committing a violent offense in the presence of a child. Utah officials call this a politically motivated attack here. What needs to be proven here to show that this is such an attack?
I think based on what we know thus far, all of the etch markings on the bullet casings, what he said to his roommate, to his family, the text message exchanges that they already have, the Discord messages that they're going through thoroughly, we do have what we need to establish that foundationally political ideology had something to do with this. Because we don't have a direct statement to law enforcement from the suspect yet, we can't say with 100% certainty, but it definitely was a variable that contributed to this action.
Now, I wanted to ask you, the Utah governor said that he blamed, quote, leftist ideology. Is that a crime or a motive for a crime that can be used by prosecutors?
No, it can't. It means, again, we want to prove what stemmed to cause this behavior. So we know that this person, looked at political views a certain way, but again, that shouldn't ever lead to violence regardless. So what we need to do is focus instead on process, not on politics. We need to make sure that acts of political violence are investigated consistently, that the administration, the FBI, local law enforcement, they come together and they show that swift and certain actions will be had if you commit acts of any type of violence, particularly in the political arena.
All right, and so the focus will be on these charges that this Tyler Robinson is facing here. The prosecutors, the governor, in fact, said that he wanted to pursue death penalty in this case. Which one of these charges carries that death penalty case, and what needs to be proven here to show that?
So they have the aggravated felony murder charge, and Utah, again, we know that every state varies in terms of its death penalty application. This would be a death penalty applicable, but they haven't yet made that formal decision because we're still awaiting more information. In the meantime, we know that they will seek the most consequence for this action if the suspect is proven guilty in court.
It should be noted here that there is a difference in reaction to Kirk's death and the death and response to the killing of Minnesota Democratic State Senator Melissa Hortman 3 months ago. She was killed in what the Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, said was an act of politically motivated assassination here. Can you talk about the differences in both of these cases here? We have one was a Democrat, Charlie Kirk, of course, an outspoken Republican here, conservative, and the difference in reaction from leaders to these deaths.
Well, I'll say first and foremost that both of these investigations from the law enforcement perspective, they were handled appropriately. They had interagency cooperation both in Minnesota and in Utah between FBI agents, local and state officials. So that's really important. They didn't treat it differently. There was a manhunt that went on for a few days for Bottler, and they did apprehend him, and he's in federal custody, which differs from what's going on with Tyler Robinson. Currently, Bottler, accused in the Minnesota shootings and murders, he is being tried federally. They are seeking the harshest consequences in that arena as well. And we see Tyler Robinson is still only being sought at the state level in Utah, and they have not brought federal charges against him at this point.
What precedent do you see these moments setting for the administration here and the handling of political violence, though?
So like I said, I don't think there should be precedent on politics at all. I think the precedent should be on the consistency of the process moving forward when acts like this happen. So a clear, even-handed approach that prioritizes accountability, transparency, and protection of free speech. That's what has to be most essential and precedent in this case. If the response is consistent, whether it is a Democrat or a Republican who's the target, we need to make sure that what we're doing strengthens trust in institution and makes it harder for bad actors to exploit division. And what's most important is ensuring that law enforcement, federal agencies, and elected leaders in the administration project unity and say that violence has no place in our political discourse.
That is the message many people want to send. Jillian Snider, resident senior fellow at the R Street Institute, thank you for joining us and providing your important insight this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.